we keep spinning and spinning and spinning and trying not to look at their Facebook page and then looking at their Facebook page and then re-injuring ourselves all over again. Well, it's physiological and it's a form of addiction. So I want to just go through exactly what's happening in your brain so that you understand that it's not a flaw, it's not something that you should be shameful of or feel badly about. Some people can let go much more easily because perhaps their connection wasn't as strong, or they have, um, have developed practices on how to let go of love so that they don't attach so completely. But for the most of us, when we attach in romantic love, it is so powerful and so painful that we can't function for sometimes years. So let me get into it with you. So there are lots of studies out there that claim certain types of love are addictive. Well, I think all love is addictive. And like addictions, letting go of a lover and relationship then becomes almost impossible to let go of. And our challenge then is to overcome the need to hang on to a relationship that is no longer loving. You're away from that person because something broke down. They failed, you failed, it just wasn't working. Initially, there was an energy that attached you, that brought you close together. But over time, if you're not connecting completely in love, and I mean, if you're not connecting from your spiritual, your heart, and your physical, or if you're not connecting in unconditional love, romantic love, and sexual love, all of those together, and you're just focusing on the romantic love, and or maybe the romantic love and the sexual love, because that's clearly addiction. Although sexual attachment is something different, but it also triggers the same part of the brain. I'm talking about full-on romance, full-on, I see you, I pick you, you're it. That is romantic love that sometimes lasts forever and sometimes doesn't, because there are other things, like I said, that just aren't working. So let's get into it. So when we let go of romantic love, we're trying to let go of this sort of addiction. When we finally let go, then it enables us a space where we can create a better and a higher love. As I said, when you understand that that romantic love isn't serving you in all the other areas, and then when you finally release, you're able to then focus on creating a better love. So when I say better love, I'm referring to a higher love. And by a higher love, I mean a love where you both elevate each other, where you elevate your energy out of that lower vibration of addiction, right? So you're no longer attached to that addiction of, I need that person to function. That person completes me. All of that, all the things that we've been told, all of the sayings that we've been told in movies and all the other media stuff that we've read about or watched, just serve to keep us addicted. So I mean, they're all great words to use and lovely in poetry. However, the reality is, if you're not coming out of that lower vibration and trying to bring it up where you're both benefiting on all levels, then you're going to continue to fall into addiction time and time again. And heartbreak will be massively hard every single time. So, when I talk about addiction, I am speaking about the addiction. Addiction is addiction is addiction, and it resonates, like I said, in the lower energetic fields, in the fields of self-loathing, shame, fear, depression, loss, grief, sadness, abandonment, denial, all of those feelings are lower vibrations. That's what I'm talking about. But as we move out of addiction, we elevate our energetic being, then we can align with the energetic field of self-love, security, grounding, calmness, acceptance, and vibrancy. So let's dig a little deeper. So hot love doesn't last. When we're just focusing on sex and the physical attributes and physical connection, it never lasts. I want to tell you that. But if you're looking at it from the romantic point of view and you're looking at it from unconditional love, then it does last. So I want to just get into romantic love and possessive love, because that's what it is. Romantic love is, I see you, you're it for me, and there's no one else. That's romantic love. So according to anthropologist Helen Fisher, romantic love is about, like I said, it's about you can't stop thinking about that person. They're your chosen lover. Everything reminds you about them. You could come across a song or even a scent or a movie or some sort of visual. It's so visceral that when we break up with someone, we can actually create a heart attack when our heart is broken. A study has actually shown that. So our challenge is to learn and understand what's happening in our brain and then learn how to get out of that pain of addiction. So Helen Fisher said that her and her team put together a study of 37 people, and they put them in an MRI and looked at their brains. So in this group of people, there were people who were newly in love, newly in romantic love, people who were heartbroken, just had their hearts broken, and then people who were still in love after 25 years. And so, again, she focused on, in this talk, really, we're focusing on what she discovered with romantic love. And why it becomes an obsession with a person when we can't get what we want because we have this sense of being rejected. So she discovered that there are 3 brain regions that get affected when we are in romantic love. And they all work together during this intensity of romantic love. And it becomes stronger when you can't get what you want. That's what she discovered. So you know that push and pull, I'll get into it in a minute. So the first brain area is called the VTA, or the Ventral Tegmental area. Now this is part of our reptilian brain. It's in the base of our skull. It's below our rational brain. This is our reward center, right? It makes dopamine, and it's the pleasure reward seeking area, right? So it's all about cravings and motivation, because the more we get that type of love, the more we want it. And it helps us really focus on getting that love. But here's the thing, that's the same area that lights up when we're on cocaine, we're addicted to a substance. And it's also when we're addicted to sugar, that's the same area, because it feels good, we want more. It feels good, we want more. So more dopamine gets produced every time we feel good, right? So we're going to want more of that. So that's the first area. The second area is the area that's in charge of calculations, gains, and losses. So this is where you measure the gains and the losses of a relationship. And this is where you will take enormous risks for huge gains and huge losses. So if you see someone who has all the check marks marked, right? All the boxes value to you. So you're going to risk a lot. You're going to risk your red flags. You're going to ignore the big red flags because the package is all good. So to you, in your mind, the risk is worth it. Okay, so that's the area that is super important to focus on. And it's also the area that tries to convince you to stay in a relationship because you've invested so many years in your relationship. So, you've said this before. Well, oh my God, I've been married for 20 years. Why would I give all that up? Why would I, just throw that out the door? Or just recently I had a conversation with a woman, and it was in a relationship for 3 years. She didn't want to start over after 3 years. And I had to explain to her, well, what if it gets worse in 2 years? Then you would have wasted 5 years of your life. So, um, uh, so you need this is where we reframe, right? In that center. But that's why we think that way, because that part of our brain lights up. And then the third area is associated with deep attachment to an individual. This is intense motivation and intense drive. This is when we focus on that one person, and that one person becomes our be all and end all, right? You know what that means. You're in a relationship and you think they should just be it for everything. They have to entertain us. They have to make us feel good. They have to provide for us. All those things. That's the one. That's the person. And again, it's not about sexual love. This is about romantic love. So it's more involved. So sexual love, this also triggers in sexual love, but that sexual love is not about finding the one. It's about finding many, right? So when you're rejected, you're feeling intense energy and focus and motivation and willingness to risk it all. And at the end of the day, when you are getting, you start off by feeling great because the dopamine rush is amazing and you're in love and you feel so admired and adored. Then you check out, this is worth it. So I'm going to risk all my red flags for this because it looks like it's worth it. It's worth my sacrifice. And then you are so focused on that one person being your end all and be all. That is where things go wrong, right? So that's great, because when that happens and it works out well, beautiful. All the stuff is working perfectly. But when it doesn't work out and there's gaps and things aren't in alignment and you're not aligned in the other areas of what love is, this is when the pain happens. So Helen says romantic love is a drive, and it has all the markers of addiction. And she wants us to understand that it's really the most addictive substance on this earth. So it's not just in your mind in the sense that you're overreacting. You really are having these feelings of intense pain and longing and wanting to reach out to them again, even though you know it's no good, even though you know they're a narcissist, they've been abusive, they've done horrible things to you, but yet you still have this drive that wants you to connect with them.